All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And good evening. Welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell, and for the next 2 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we will cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until midnight right here on your hometown radio Classic 1220, and streamed around the world on classic1220.ca. Now, if you'd like to send me an email with any suggestions, if you'd like us to bring on a special guest, or maybe you just have a question about how you can get some help with a special paranormal problem that you're having, send me an email, xzone@classic1220.ca. Exo Nation, my first guest tonight is Miss Karen Anderson, and we're going to be talking about afterlife of pets, pet loss, animal communication signs from the afterlife. And as you know, recently, Exo Nation, we had two of our little fur babies, Nikita and Maddie, who passed on to the other side, and we still have little Lola, who is I wouldn't say that she's taken the position as the queen of the house, but she does miss her first sisters, and I love animals, Exo Nation. I love animals. And for many of you who've been with us over the past 34 years doing the show, you know that one of the contracts we did here at Relmar McConnell Media Company was being the communications director in the communications department of the SPCA. And we got to see firsthand how hard people work when it comes to saving animals, taking care of animals, and just being there for animals. So we were very happy to hear that Karen Anderson had accepted our invitation. And joining me now from Elk, Washington is Karen. And Karen, welcome to the X Zone.
Well, hi, Rob. Thanks so much for having me on. It's truly a pleasure and an honor.
Well, thank you very much, Karen. Tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Well, I am currently, like you said, in Elk, Washington, which is the eastern part. So Canada and Idaho are my closest neighbors. And we have a 30-acre ranch here that is now a nonprofit animal sanctuary. Mm-hmm. And it is my joy in life to be able to save the pets that no one else wants. So I go to my local shelters and I ask for the one that has been there the longest or has been overlooked and passed by, and I bring them here and they live out the rest of their lives here with us on the ranch. And it's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, pine trees, rolling hills, and they're spoiled for as the best that I can take care of them, and it's just a joy to be able to do that.
My congratulations to you, and my hat is off to you because you are doing something so special. And people, I wouldn't say the majority of people, but people do not realize how special pets are, how special animals are, and how important they are to us as a society. So thank you very much for that great work that you do.
Well, thank you. It is, and it's work.
I know.
Tell you, it's work. But I spent the last 26 years in pet loss and animal communication, and this is now my focus and what I put all my time into. And it truly, I bring all of my skills together, even my past work in law enforcement. Everything has kind of culminated into where I am now. And it is, there's so many that need us. There's so many that need help, and they don't have space for them. All those shelters are full right now, and it's just really tragic. So I can't take a lot because, we're limited by space, but I do what I can, and I help as many as I can manage. And it's a joy. They're everything. They're my whole world. And my life is so much richer because of them. I think everyone listening, if you have a pet at home or if you had a pet, you know what I'm talking about. Everything is better because they're there. And it's truly the greatest joy.
I understand, and like I said, I thank God there's people like you out there who will do this for the animals. And the people that I had the pleasure of working with at the SPCA, the inspectors, the volunteers, the caregivers, the adoption people, the veterinarians who donate their services. These are people that are, in my opinion, society's heroes. They really
true.
are.
There's a lot of people who work so hard, and it's also very devastating work too, because we're exposed more to loss, and we have so many of them that come through our lives and touch us so deeply, and still we have to say goodbye to them.
Yes.
And it's really hard. We just keep opening our hearts up to more, so we can do the best we can for them. But it is quite devastating, even for me. With my background, I'm a total mess when I lose one of mine.
I can understand that. And I guess for the listeners who may not have pets, the best example or the parallel that I can give is that it's a hospice. It's a hospice that people like Karen open up their hearts, welcome any animal in, but like she said, her space is, based on how many animals she can take in the shelter. And are you publicly funded or privately funded, Karen?
I'm a 501c3, so I rely strictly on donations. And because we're small, we don't get grants because we can't compete with the big guys. So we truly rely on people who are listening right now to send in donations. We have an Amazon wish list, a Chewy wish list. We have, of course, donation platforms that we use, but we're strictly funded by personal donations. And it was funded by me for the last 35 years.
Wow.
And I finally founded the nonprofit several years ago because that's really where my heart was, and it was truly a childhood dream of mine. So I finally did it, and now we've been up and running for a couple of years, and we really rely on donations. So I have also, I have books that I've written about pet loss and the afterlife and signs from the afterlife. And all of the proceeds from my books, all of the proceeds from my coaching, and if you want to book a session, not with me, but one of my colleagues, the proceeds go to my nonprofit.
And Exonation, if you'd like to give to Karen and help this great cause, her website is KarenAnderson.net. And Karen, I'm sorry if I cut you off there. My producer said you were just going to say something.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry, I was letting you go. The name of the animal sanctuary is Painted Rain Ranch. And it's because I have a horse who is a paint, and her name is Rain. So the nonprofit is Painted Rain Ranch, and she's one of our residents here. And we do our best for all the companion animals that we can, horses, cats, dogs. I even have some chickens. We had a little chipmunk for a while, and whatever comes across our way, if it needs our help, we help them. And we never turn anyone away that needs us, as far as the strays that show up here. And it's amazing, Rob. They know where I live. They
Really?
show up here all the time. Like, how did you know where I live? But it's truly a passion, and it's just my husband and I. We don't have a crew. We don't have employees, so it's just the two of us, and it's just a magical place. You can go on the website of paintedrainranch.org, and you can see all of our residents. You can see the property and meet everybody and read their stories. And I just rescued 2 cats on last week. It was either Thursday or Friday. The days are kind of running together in my mind. I went to the local shelter, and I asked for the 2 that had been there the longest, and they brought out these 2 cats. So I'm just getting them settled in right now, and it's been kind of a whirlwind tornado. So that's why I can't even figure out what day it is, because I'm trying to get them settled in. But they are severely, they have stomatitis, which is mouth ulcers. So, and they're semi-feral, so they don't like me. They don't like people.
Not yet, anyway. But when they realize what great people you and your husband are, they're going to be great friends.
I hope so, because right now they think I'm going to, chop them up or something.
Oh, my Lord.
When I walk in the room, they're like, oh, run. She's here again.
Well, I guess that's because of the experiences that they've had in the past.
Right. And they were from a hoarding house. They came from the same hoarding house, and they were severely underweight. They had to have all their teeth extracted. They have to be on a special diet. And because of that, and because of their fearfulness of humans, nobody wanted them. And the shelter, the director at the shelter said, please, Karen, can you take these 2? They've been here for over 365 days.
Wow.
Not a single person has shown any interest in them, so I brought them home.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. During my stint with the SPCA, I saw a lot of hoarding cases. And I'll tell you something. First of all, the inspectors who go out and do the investigations and actually do the policing for the animals, they do a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
And one of the cases that we worked with, the inspectors as well as the Hamilton Police Services, my producer says I should take this commercial first, and then we'll come back and talk about that, because it is a story that touched many hearts. Exonation, my guest this hour is Karen Anderson. 2 websites, paintedranch.org and karenanderson.net. Do me a favor, Exonation. Go to her website, and if you can help out, please do. Animals. We are supposed to be taking care of them on this planet. So please, let's give a hand out to somebody who's really helping these animals in their time of need. We'll be back on the other side of this break as the X-Zone continues here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on your hometown radio, Classic 1220. And that was not me meowing. We'll be right back.
So you are a star, okay. Nobody knows you like I do, and you will go far, okay. Nobody knows you like I do. You got to let only me. You got to feel only me. 'Cause nobody knows you. Nobody shows you the way.
And welcome back to the X-Zone. I'm Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed around the world on classic1220.ca. All right, I'd just like to let you know that as we went to the commercial break, it was not me meowing. I know for a fact it wasn't Karen who was meowing. It was one of her kittens. And before we go any further, I would just like to have Karen correct, because she said to me during the commercial break, I better tell the listeners about the URL for the charity because you kind of screwed it up. Well, she didn't say it that way. She was very polite about it, but that was the way it was. All right, Karen, what's the URL?
It is paintedrainranch.org.
Okay.
Paintedrainranch.org. You were close. You just kind of forgot a word in there.
Yeah, well,
so.
you know, close only counts in horseshoes and grenade throwing. So,
I know.
yeah.
I know. The intention was good.
well,
so
thank you,
it's
dear.
all good.
I appreciate that. I know one of the cases that I worked with our inspectors here at the Canadian SPCA was a hoarding house on a street in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And the inspectors went there, and my job there was to make sure that the media knew what the inspectors were doing and what the important work of the SPCA was. So I contacted all my contacts in the media, and they all joined me up at the house. And here in this house, Karen, there must have been at least 4 feet of garbage. 4 feet of garbage. And we pulled out, I think it was 75. There were black Himalayan as well as ragdolls.
Oh, no.
Full grown.
Terrible.
And there were about 50 or 60 kittens.
Yeah, that's horrible.
We bring them back to the SPCA. Like I said, the inspectors and the volunteers were all there. And, of course, you know, there were a number of them that had to be put down because of the poor health. But my wife and I, when we heard that they were looking for foster parents, my wife and I said, well, we'll foster 2 of them, right? And you know what the word foster means? You're going to fall in love with them. You're not going to let them go.
Foster fail means.
Okay, so we got 2 of these little kittens, fell in love with them. They're part of the family, right? And they grow up to be beautiful members of the family and gorgeous cats. In fact, Frank was the rag doll. He was about 18, 19 pounds. And I'd whistle. And he'd come running down the stairs. He'd jump on the back of my chair, and we'd do the show together.
Nice.
But one night...
I love that.
Yeah, but
I
one
love
night,
it.
Frank did something very strange. He started pushing my neck in a certain spot. Whenever I sat down, he'd jump on me, and he'd push my neck in a certain spot with his head.
Oh, wow.
I went to the doctor, and where Frank was pushing on my neck, I had a tumor growing on one of my arteries in my neck.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
Frank
I just got chills.
brought it
I
to
totally
the
just got
attention.
chills on that. Wow.
And, you know, I thank the good Lord that Frank was there. And
Wow. That's
yeah,
amazing.
it is.
They know so much about us. You know,
Oh.
we don't realize they absorb everything that's going on with us. They're like little sponges. So, you know, if you've got health issues, they
Yeah.
can absorb that. If you've got things going on at work, they absorb
Yeah.
that. In relationships, they are little sponges. They're kind of like a little barometer
That's
of
true.
how we are,
Yeah.
you know, because they're in our energy so much.
That is so true. So when I look at animals, I look at some little creatures that are so precious to us and that are part of our lives. And when I see people who, well, at Christmas time, let's get little Johnny a puppy, right? And come March, little Johnny doesn't want the puppy anymore. Or do you remember, what was that name of the film, Craig? Following Nemo? Where everybody
Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo. Everybody went out and bought a
Yeah.
clownfish.
Oh,
And
right.
3 months later, they didn't want them. Or, how about this? Everybody buys bunny rabbits at Easter because they're so cute. 3 months later, oh, I don't want this
Yeah.
bunny. It's too much work. It's they're not disposable. These little creatures have feelings, and
They do. They do. And they're traumatized every time they have to go
Yeah.
through a change or change hands or homes or, you know, it's not their choice. It's not their fault. And yet they have to endure their whatever person brings them home. And
Yeah.
it's tragic. Horses, too. Horses go through many different owners.
big time.
And, you know, they don't have any say in it. They just get shoved in a trailer and sent down the road. I mean, can you imagine if someone, Rob, imagine someone just comes over to your house, grabs you, stuffs you in a vehicle, and carts you off somewhere. And you have no idea where you're going. You have no idea what their intention is. I mean, it's scary.
Yeah, my wife calls that a weekend getaway.
Oh,
But I understand what you're talking about, Karen. I understand,
not.
and it is so stressful for these little creatures. I believe that people do not understand the responsibility that they take when they bring a little animal or a little fish or a little lizard or anything into their home. They have to maintain the responsibility. Number one, make sure that the space where you're going to put this animal is what the animal requires, or the fish, or the whatever. Make sure that you can actually afford feeding the animal the right food. Make sure that you can afford, in case of anything, the veterinarian care that is required. Make sure that you have the ability to exercise this animal properly. And the most important is make sure that you can love this animal. If you can't do any of those, I'm sorry, you do not deserve to be a foster parent or a parent to a fur baby or any other animal.
Yeah. Instead, what you should do is just donate a small monthly amount to nonprofits like me so that we have the space, we have the time, we have the ability. Let us take care of them. You can just support us through your monthly donations. That's another way, too, of helping. If you can't afford it yourself, you can send us whatever is affordable to you, and we'll take care of them, and we'll help the ones that really need our help the most.
Something that we are noticing an increase in is bequeathments in wills to animal shelters or to animal associations, and I think that is so wonderful.
It is. I get those too, because we have on the website for the nonprofit, we have, if you want to include us in your estate planning, I guess that's the nice way of saying it, include Painted Rain Ranch for any type of monetary or other donations should your time come. We certainly do take those. Again, we're very limited on animal space, so we have to be very, very careful about that. But we certainly do appreciate any type of monetary support. But it is really wonderful to see people are actually planning for their pets and, making sure that they're taken care of, because they end up in shelters. Many of them do, and they get separated. So someone that they were raised with, someone they spent their whole life with, they get separated from. And I just can't imagine what they go through. I think it's just horrible to go into the shelter system. And I can't even go. I mean, I have a hard time going to those places myself. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and
it must be so hard.
And animals also go through a grieving period. Even though people think, oh, they're just animals. No, they're not. No. They're more than that.
No, animals grieve.
Yes.
Some of them grieve very deeply, and some of them act like nothing happened. You just never know. Sometimes they respond when a companion dies, and other times they're like, woohoo, now I'm the only pet here. I don't have to compete. So everyone's a little different. You just never know.
And Exonation, if you would like to make a donation, or if you'd like to make a special mention in your wills, www.paintedrainranch.org, or visit her.
Got it. Yes.
That's what she said. And if you Karen's website is www.karenanderson.net. Animals are very special, and I think, this is my own belief, Karen, that children should be taught at a very early age the significance that animals play in our world. You don't find animals committing or inciting world wars. They don't incite riots. They don't do anything negative. All they want to do is give you unconditional love.
True.
That's all they want to do. And
they do.
So if you see an animal, X-Zone Nation, where, number one, they're in distress, please call the local Humane Society or one of the shelters. And if you can't get anything there, call 911 because the police will help. You know, they're a real bunch of good guys and gals. Take it from me, I used to work with them. And they're there to help.
Yes. And also to document, you know, that once you start the paper trail,
That's
because
right.
I'm ex-law enforcement too, you know, then the paper trail is there. And if no one says anything, if no one reports
Yeah.
it, it's really hard to prove anything if there's something going on that shouldn't be going on. So at least start the paper trail and be their voice. And when I was a police officer, you know, we responded to everything. Of course, we were a small department. So, you know, any call that came in, and there were situations where, you know, it was deplorable conditions and we'd have to take the animals out. So you just have to be their voice and report stuff. If you see something, just file a report. Contact your local law enforcement and let them know what's going on or what you saw.
As they say, if you see something, say something. And Karen, you and I have
That's
to
right.
take our break at the bottom of the hour. Please stand by. Thanks very much for joining us, Karen, and thank you for everything
Thank
do.
you. Thank you.
Explanation, Karen and I will return and visit paintedrainranch.org and as well as karenanderson.net. This is the X-Zone. I'm Rob McConnell. You're listening to us on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed around the world on classic1220.ca.
Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? You've been out riding fences for so long now. Oh, you a hard one. I know that you got your reasons. These things that are pleasing you will hurt you somehow. Don't you dog the queen?
And welcome back to the X-Zone. Rob McConnell here, and you're coming to us, or we're coming to you, I should say, from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed around the world on classic1220.ca. Karen Anderson is my special guest, and here's two websites, X-Zone Nation, karenanderson.net. And if you'd like to help out a worthy cause, please go to www.paintedrainranch.org. And Karen, thank you for all you do.
Well, thank you so much for acknowledging. It's, you know, truly a passion and a joy to be able to help these animals, the ones that need the help the most.
Karen, what about animals and the afterlife?
You know, it's an incredible thing that I've discovered after almost 3 decades of animal communication sessions. It's mind-boggling that our departed pets are still with us.
Mm-hmm.
They see what we're going through. They understand when we're sad. They love it when we're happy. And they never leave us. Those bonds of love never die. Nothing can break us from that connection. Nothing. You can't move anywhere. You can't, even if you get another pet, they really don't care. They are truly happy when you're happy. They feed off of your joy in the afterlife realm. And it's mind-boggling, the signs and messages that they send. Oftentimes we disregard because we think it's our imagination. but it just is so fascinating to me, and I never get tired of it, and I have so many stories.
But how do you communicate with these animals on the other side?
Well, the way I do is, I've crafted my abilities over thousands upon thousands of sessions that
Wow.
I've conducted. And it's really just a matter of, I call it just shifting my consciousness. It's almost like going into what would be like a daydream kind of soft gazing, I guess. And in that shifting of your consciousness, you just relax. You relax into it. What happens is the lines of communication open up, and I literally can start to get either downloads of information where suddenly I'll start seeing images. I might hear names or words, sometimes sentences. I'll get feelings, emotions. You just never know how the animal is going to send a message.
But how do you connect with one specific animal with all the animals who must be on the other side?
So easy. It sounds like it would be really hard, but it's so easy. The way that I train myself and the way that I train others, because I coach others how to do this, because it's so simple. The steps to learn, most people really grasp in about 15 minutes.
Wow.
The steps are very, very simple. It's almost too simple. You think that can't work, but it is. I train my clients with focusing on a picture, because once the animal obviously is passed on, that's all we have are pictures of them.
Right.
But a picture isn't needed. What's so powerful, what's so amazing about the human mind, all that really matters, Rob, is your intention. Who do you intend to connect with? That's really all it takes. But the picture is nice, especially if it's an animal I don't know, because I love them. I love seeing how cute they are. But that's like for me having that pet's cell phone number. I just dial them up just by gazing at the photo. And it's just a technique. There are many different techniques. That's just one of them.
So do you need a photo to communicate with the animal on the other side?
I say yes because I'm a lazy psychic. So yes, I'm lazy. I will admit it.
Come on. No.
Yeah.
Everything I know about
work any harder.
wait a
You don't want to
second.
work any harder.
Oh, Karen, dear Karen. Everything I know about you proves to me you are anything but lazy.
Well, sometimes you need a little break.
I understand that, and I appreciate that, but please don't underestimate the great work that you do. Okay?
I appreciate that. But, think about it. If someone says that they have a black cat or a black dog or a white horse, how many black cats and white horses are there out there? It seems like, a bazillion to one shot. But truly what happens is especially when I was working with my clients,
Right.
they bring that animal with them to the session. So I don't have to go looking very far for them because that animal is already connected to them, bonded to them, and they want to share their messages. So the client brings that energy with them. I just have to be focused enough to tune into them, push all of my stuff aside, and be open to hear those messages. And it actually becomes like this. I'm going to describe to you how simple it is.
Okay.
Once you get it, it's like when you get in your car and you start driving. So I'm going to give you this analogy. This is how simple it is. When you get in your car, Rob,
Right.
do you actually think about putting your foot on the brake, turning the key? Do you think about putting it into park? No. Your brain just automatically goes there, right? You don't have to think about every one of those steps, right?
Right.
It comes natural. We become so muscle memory, so conditioned to how to drive our vehicles. We don't think about it. We only think about it like if we, have to suddenly slam on the brakes, and then it's like, oh man, you get snapped into reality. So connecting with an animal is very much like the process that you go through with, let's say, driving down the road. After you've done it as many times as I have, it becomes automatic. It's natural. I literally would have to turn it off so they would stop talking to me because so many animals wanted to share messages with me, and I would go crazy if I listened to them all the time.
Wow. I don't know what's going on here. What is it? I'm sorry about that.
Weird things happen when I'm around. Just saying.
I'm beginning to see that. Holy cow.
I do weird things to electronic equipment. My energy is I tend to do. I don't know. I had a podcast completely melt down the last time I tried to do it, so I'm going to blame me.
Don't blame yourself, honey. No. Oh, my God.
But you get what I'm saying, right?
I do.
You get,
I
you get
really
the
do.
natural muscle memory of it.
Yeah.
It's just you're just conditioned, and it becomes so second nature.
Mm-hmm.
If you were, doing anything around your house, you don't stop and think about every step. Okay, now I'm going to open up the lid to the washing machine. I'm going to pour X amount of detergent in. You don't think about those things. You just do them. You just go through because you've done it a million times, right? Same thing with animal communication. Once you know the basics, once you've had, enough practice sessions under your belt, it just comes naturally. You don't even have to think about it.
What's it like talking to an animal who has passed and has gone to the other side? What do they say about euthanasia? Like this last year, we had to put two of our fur babies down. Maddie, who was 18, and God bless her, she had problems like you would not believe. Nikita, who was born in a puppy mill, and we rescued her from a pet shop, had problems from day one. But we loved her, and we did everything we could, and we gave her what we consider to be 16 good years.
That's a beautiful life, and may you be blessed for giving those animals such a wonderful life. And, it's a great question. How do animals feel about euthanasia? Well, first of all, I want to share with you that they don't understand euthanasia the way that we do. They see it completely differently in the fact that they are very accepting of their body failing and their life coming to an end. Not now that I don't want to be misleading there, because animals have the will to survive.
Okay.
You will see them even when they're, in a very bad state health-wise. They still struggle to live, but that's Mother Nature doing that. That's just those natural instincts kicking in. But an animal is very accepting of the end of their life, whereas humans fear it.
Right.
Animals don't have that fear. They're very accepting. I've had animals tell me, this is really the big shock right here. Many people are like, oh, when I tell them this, that, we agonize over that decision, right? I don't want to take them in yet. Have I taken them in too soon? Am I making the right choice? Here's how the animals, the majority of them, of course, there's, I'm talking in general terms here. The animals usually tell me, Mom or Dad, which is you guys, waited way too long.
Yeah, exactly.
I was ready to go. I didn't need to be here for that extra month, 3 months, 2 weeks, whatever it was. We humans tend to keep them here longer than they need to be. And only a handful of animals have said the opposite.
And it's the same with people, because my wife's a nurse before she retired, and she worked in the palliative care units. And she says the same thing. It's the family who wants to keep the person, not the person. The person is believed to be saying, I want to go. Please, I've had enough.
Yep. And what we're doing is we're just extending their life, and we are postponing the inevitable because we're not ready to let go. And I get it. I'm there. I'm guilty. I've done it more times than I'm going to admit tonight with you, but I don't do that anymore. I have a very set time, and each animal is different, but I will take them to a certain point and then if they stop eating and I can't get them to eat after like 2 or 3 days, if they're not themselves, if that spark is gone, if they have mobility issues, if they're in pain. I mean, I have certain criteria.
Karen, I hate
used
to do this to you,
that person.
but I've got to take
Yeah.
my final break. Please stand by. Exonation, Karen Anderson is our guest, www.karenanderson.net and paintedrainranch.org. And Karen and I will be back as we wrap up this hour here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on your hometown radio, Classic 1220. Don't go away.
People are talking about people.
Oh, yeah.
I hear them whisper. You won't believe it. They think we're lovers, kept undercover. I'll just ignore it, but they keep saying we laugh just a little too loud, a little too stand, just a little.
And welcome back. This is the X Zone. I'm Rob McConnell. You're listening to us on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed around the world on classic1220.ca. My guest this hour is Karen Anderson, and was that a cat I heard? Of course it is. and,
It's true.
and before I
There's
get back
cats
to
here.
Karen, I would just like to say happy birthday to Danny, who is Karen's
Aw.
husband, and his birthday, I believe, is next Wednesday, or this coming Wednesday.
Yes.
So, Danny,
Yes.
from everyone here at the X Zone Nation, happy birthday, my friend.
Oh, thank you for that. Oh, my gosh.
Well, it's the least I can do for everything you do.
Oh,
But
thank you.
speaking about the kitten, what kind of cat was meowing?
That was Owie.
Owie?
And he's one of my rescues. I got him out of a wood pile, and he's missing a leg.
Oh.
But let me tell you, it doesn't slow him down. He is the fastest cat I've ever had. Yeah, his rear left leg was missing, and they were in the kittens. There were 3 of them. They were in such bad shape, but I got them just in time. They were probably not going to make it another 24 hours. Their
Oh,
eyes
my
were
goodness.
just barely opening. Yeah.
Well, thank goodness you were there. Now, I understand you have books that are #1 on Amazon. Tell us about that.
I do. I have 2 in the top 5 on Amazon right now on Pet Loss. So my most recent book is The Pet I Can't Forget, and is all about finding hope and healing with signs from the afterlife. This book is filled to the brim with story after story of incredible signs and messages that animals have sent from the afterlife. Many of those signs and messages your listeners have probably received and thought, no, that was my imagination. No, it wasn't. And these stories will just blow your mind, some of the incredible things that they send.
Can you share a couple of them with our listeners?
I can. I would love to.
Well, they'd love to hear them.
Yes. So one of them was a giant glass of red wine.
Okay.
Kind of a weird message, right?
No, not in this household.
A giant glass, not a regular glass, but a giant glass of red wine.
All
So
right.
this is a message that I received during a communication session with a client, and I was a little bit nervous about bringing it up because I didn't know what it meant. And this particular dog, his name is Argyle, he wouldn't tell me. He just kept showing me a giant glass of red wine several times throughout the session, and I didn't want to bring it up until I knew more, because I've had it happen where it was maybe an substance abuse issues, which got really awkward. So I waited until the very end of the session when he sent it again. I saw another glass of red wine. So finally I said, okay, I asked my client, is there any reason why Argyle would be showing me a giant glass of red wine? Well, it just so happened that before he passed, he was in the afterlife. Before he passed, they had taken him across the nation to Oregon, there is a winery by the name of Argyle Winery. This dog's name was Argyle. And when they got there, the people at the winery treated him like a celebrity, and they took pictures of him in front of the Argyle Winery sign with huge glasses of red wine surrounding him.
Unreal.
Yeah, blew my mind. So that's a message from an animal in the afterlife. You would think they would talk about their treats or their toys. No, you just never know what they're going to talk about. He loved the attention he got there. That was such a big deal for him and for his human mom and dad. And he kept showing me the red wine.
What are some of the signs that our fur babies on the other side try to send to people on this side to grab their attention, to let them know that, hey, we're here?
There's so many, but I'll get in a few of them here. The most common, they come to us in our dreams, but Rob, it's always a good dream. It's always an amazing, vivid, incredible dream. It's positive. It's loving. You feel like you're holding them, hugging them. You feel like they're right there. It's never a bad dream. Bad dreams are just your mind playing weird tricks on you at night. That's not a sign that they're near, but they can come to you and visit you in your dreams because you're more relaxed.
Okay.
Easier for them to get through. Also, they love to send objects like feathers. They like to send heart-shaped leaves or stones or different items. They love to send other animals like birds, hummingbirds, cardinals, hawks. There's so many different signs. Rainbows, shooting stars. There's so many different signs they can send. They can move things in your house. They can make a sound. You can hear their little toenails clicking across the floor and there's nobody there. This just goes on and on and on as to how they let us know that they're still there, because they are, but they don't have a body anymore, so they have to get really creative on how they let us know they're near.
My aunt passed away very recently, and my wife and I were talking last night because my aunt had a little dog, and we were worried about, what happened to her little dog, who was going to be taking care of her little dog now that she had passed. And it was funny because, and this is without a word of a lie, last night I was lying in bed, and my wife and I could not remember my aunt's dog's name. And in the night, I had a dream. My aunt, who is also my godmother, I loved her so much, 89 years of age, she passed on peacefully. It got all black in my dream. And out of the blackness came my aunt. And she had a beautiful smile on her face. And she said, "Robbie, the name of my dog is Bo." And
Wow.
I woke up this morning and I said to Laura, I said, "Aunt Barbara's dog's name was Bo." And she said, "How did you figure that out?" I said, "It came to me in a dream."
She told me,
Yeah.
So that is so cool.
Yeah.
And yes, those dream visitations are real. Again, it's not your imagination. Those are real visitations. That's the most common way our loved ones, human and animal, communicate with us, because our brains are quiet.
I've had
Relax.
a number of people on the show over the years who talk about near-death experiences. And one of the most frequent remarks that they make is that as they get to the gate, or as they get to the point of no return, their animals, their pets, are there waiting for them.
They are. And that is so true. And we will be reunited again with our pets, with our human loved ones. And they can all be in the same place if they so desire. There isn't like a separation. Like animals aren't on, level 3 and humans are on level 2. It's not like that. I often had sessions where the animal energy would come through, whoever I was going to be communicating with, and they would bring through human loved ones.
Really?
So they were together. Many times they were sometimes holding the animal up or saying, "Look, I've got him. They're in my arms." and hugging on horses or saying, look at, I've got all these animals around. So yes, they do come through together, and you're the common denominator. So even if they didn't know each other in life, it doesn't matter. They'll know each other in the afterlife because you are the common denominator. They're connected to you. So they can bring through whoever else is connected to you. Even if they didn't like animals, when you get to the afterlife, you kind of forget that you don't like animals. Everyone just kind of revolves around love. Love is like the universal language in the afterlife.
How can anybody not like beautiful fur babies? That just boggles my imagination. How anybody can be cruel to any animal.
Oh,
But,
yeah,
you know,
that's beyond me. That's true. Well, as a former deputy sheriff, I can tell you I've seen some pretty awful and atrocious things, the way humans treat other humans and the way humans treat animals. So I don't know. I'll never be able to understand the criminal mind, and I'll never be able to understand those things ever. It's just foreign to me.
well, from one law enforcement officer who's retired to another, thank you for your service.
Oh my gosh, and thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for your service too.
We have about...
If you haven't worn the badge and the uniform, you just don't know what that's like. It's
Isn't
unique.
that the truth? Isn't that the truth? You don't wear a badge these days, you wear a target.
You do. I wouldn't be in it right now in this world. I can't believe I got out of it okay, but that was 22 years ago.
Wow.
So it was a different time.
We've got about 2 minutes left. What are your final words? What would you like to share with the listening audience of the X-Zone Nation tonight on your hometown radio, Classic 1220?
This is really important for everybody that has a beloved companion. Make their life more important than their death or how they died. Those last few days, hours, minutes do not define the incredible love and the bond that you shared. Focus instead on what they brought to you, how you're a better person, not on their last final moments. That does not define them. So be sure that you honor who they are always and what they brought to your life more than those last final moments, because they never bring it up.
They truly know unconditional love. Karen, quickly, where can people find out more about you? And once again, give them the URL so that they can make donations if they'd like.
Absolutely. They can check out my books. There's The Amazing Afterlife of Animals, The Pet I Can't Forget, and Hear All Creatures are on Amazon and Audible. My nonprofit sanctuary is paintedrainranch.org, and my main site is KarenAnderson.net.
Karen, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. This will be not the last time that you're on with us, but thank you for everything that you do, and I hope that we're able to help you in your cause.
I totally appreciate you, and thank you to all your listeners, and Craig too. I know he's in there somewhere, so thank you so much for having me on tonight. I'm truly grateful.
Karen, take care of yourself, and Danny, happy birthday. We'll be back on the other side of this break as the X-Zone continues, right here from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed around the world on classic1220.ca.